Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we are breaking down one of the most critical leadership skills out there, mastering stakeholder conflict. You know, having the technical skills can get a project off the ground, sure, but it's managing the people that actually gets it across the finish line.
So let's just dive right in with a question that I'm guessing hits pretty close to home for anyone who's ever led a project. You've got this great plan, a solid team, but everything just grinds to a halt because of resistance or politics, or maybe just that one person who seems determined to block everything. It's so frustrating, and it happens all the time.
And the stakes here? They really couldn't be any higher. I mean, look at this. On one side, if you let this conflict just fester, you're looking at delays, resistance, and yeah, even total project failure. But on the other side, if you manage it effectively, well, that's where you build trust, you make stronger decisions, and you find a direct path to success. The difference is absolutely night and day.
Okay, so let's start by kind of reframing the problem. The very first step is just to accept that these things, conflicting priorities, power struggles, resistance, they aren't signs that you're failing as a leader, not at all. They are a completely normal, even inevitable part of any project. So the goal isn't to avoid conflict, it's to harness it.
So what do we even mean when we say a stakeholder is difficult? Well, it's not about their job title, right? It's not about where they sit in the org chart. It's all about their behavior. Doesn't matter if it's a senior exec or a junior team member, if they are actively resisting, creating obstacles, or undermining the project's goals, they fit this definition.
Now, here's what's so interesting about this. Conflict, believe it or not, can actually be a good thing. Seriously. When it's managed well, disagreements can clarify what everyone expects and can even make your final solution way better. The real danger, the true risk to your project, is letting that conflict go unmanaged. That's when it spirals and becomes destructive.
So, to manage conflict, you can't just react. You first have to really understand what you're dealing with. You have to put on your detective hat, become a diagnostician, and start looking for the common patterns, and more importantly, the root causes.
Do any of these sound a little familiar? You've got the resistor, who just says no to everything. The power broker, who uses their authority to get their way. Or maybe the most dangerous one of all, the silent saboteur. They smile to your face but work against you behind the scenes. Figuring out which archetype you're facing is the first crucial step to creating a strategy.
And here's the key insight. This is so important. Difficult behavior is almost always just a symptom of a much deeper issue. It might be that two departments have completely different goals or a genuine fear of what this new change will bring. To really solve the problem, you have to look past the person and diagnose that root cause.
Okay, so now that you can diagnose the problem, you need a playbook for how to respond. And this is not a one-size-fits-all situation. There are 5 distinct conflict management styles, and knowing which one to use and when, well, that's a sign of real leadership maturity.
This table just illustrates that point perfectly. It all depends on the situation. Avoiding a fight might be the perfect move for a really trivial issue. Competing is absolutely necessary when a critical decision has to be made right now. But for those really complex problems where you need everyone on board for the long haul, nothing, and I mean nothing, beats collaborating. The key is to be flexible.
And this quote just captures that whole idea perfectly. It's not about having a favorite style that you always default to. A truly mature leader has all 5 of these in their toolkit, and they know exactly which one to pull out for the right situation at just the right time.
All right, let's shift gears from theory to tactics. Now we're going to get into some powerful, proactive strategies you can actually use to manage these tough relationships and turn a confrontation into a really constructive conversation.
This right here is a fundamental shift in how you need to think. Sure, you can use your authority to force people to comply, but that's usually short-lived. Real, lasting success comes from building influence. Influence is what creates genuine commitment and can actually turn your biggest blockers into your strongest advocates. So when you're facing a challenge that's based on someone's opinion or office politics, your best weapon, hands down, is data. Instead of arguing about feelings, you shift the entire conversation to facts. Talk about the cost impact, the schedule variance, the risk exposure. Data just elevates the whole discussion from emotion to objective, logical business sense.
Look, sometimes you have absolutely no choice but to escalate an issue, but there is a right way and a very, very wrong way to do it. Escalating emotionally, that just destroys your credibility. But escalating strategically, with objective evidence, a neutral tone, and a clear request for a decision, that is a professional and sometimes necessary tool.
Okay,
Finally, let's pull all of these ideas together into a simple, repeatable process. So the next time conflict pops up, you don't have to guess what to do. You can just follow a clear, structured path that leads to resolution.
This 5-step process is your action plan. 1. Diagnose the type and the root cause. 2. Know what a win actually looks like. 3. Consciously choose your conflict style. 4. Facilitate a fact-based discussion. And 5, and this is so critical, formalize whatever you agreed to and track it, just like any other task on your project plan.
And ultimately, this is what it all boils down to. Your role as a leader in these situations isn't to win arguments or to take sides. No, it's to rise above all of that. It's to be the neutral integrator, the person who can shield the team from the destructive politics and align all those competing interests toward one common goal.
So the big takeaway from this whole explainer is a framework that should give you some newfound confidence. Conflict isn't something you have to be afraid of. It's just something you have to manage, which leaves us with one final, very practical question for you to think about.